Hello, this is Ed Burke with PlaceForTraders.com for Thursday, April 2nd. Starting off in the June S&P. In my last video, I had talked about the pivot level of 796 and a quarter being our guide to the directional market. Above 796 and a quarter, we're looking at a bullish market. Below 796 and a quarter, a bearish market. I had the first line of support down at 784, the first line of resistance up at 807 and a half. Now, early on, before the regular session opened, the market by all accounts looked very bearish. An hour before the regular session opened, the June S&P traded as low as 779 and a half through that first line of support at 784. Right then there was a big turnaround. By the time the regular session opened, the market climbed all the way back to the pivot and stayed firmer all day with better than expected news on the housing front. Home builder stocks were up. The existing home sales for the month of March came in at up 2.1% versus the expectation of down 1%. I had that first line of resistance up at 807 and a half. The market made a high and closed right near its high at 810.30. The market settled at 809.20. So we went through that first line of resistance at 807 and a half. We closed real strong just above that first line of resistance at 809.20. Like I said, the high 810.30. Now for Thursday, I'm looking at the pivot level of 850, 800.50. Market needs to stay above 850 for a bullish market, below 850 a bearish market. I'm looking at the first line of resistance up at 820, the second line of resistance up at 831. For support, I'm looking at the first line of support at 789 and a half. The second level of support way down at 769 and a half. Now on this daily chart, I have the weekly and daily pivot numbers up, and I put the weekly numbers up because we settled right at the weekly pivot. I have the weekly pivot right at 809 here. I'm pointing to this black line is 809. So if we can stay above 809, we are now bullish on a weekly time frame, not only the daily time frame but the weekly time frame. And then down here, right near our daily first line of support, also the weekly first line of support comes in at 787 and a half. That's weekly support 1, 787 and a half. Our first line of daily support is 789 and a half. So we have convergence on the daily. I'm sorry, the convergence on the first line of weekly support and the first line of daily support, and then we had settled right at the weekly pivot, but the daily pivot is 850. Some numbers that are coming out for Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. You have initial jobless claims. The expectation is for 645,000, and then at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, you have factory orders. The expectation is for a rise of 1.2%. That's all I have for this evening. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't gone to my website as of yet, it's placefortraders.com. Thanks a lot and good trading.